Home Show.
Dan from Spring has a question about furniture restoration.
Yeah, in fact, Tom, he's a chef, and he's restoring old tables like this one that he's getting from restaurants that aren't using them anymore. Okay?
Wow.
He writes, one of the biggest problems I'm having, he says, is removing all the built-up grease from being in a gas kitchen before I can stain and refinish. I can't sand, he says, because it immediately fouls up the sandpaper. So he wants to know, do you have a suggestion for this issue in a way that he could do it?
I don't know if he'll ever get all that grease out. Wood is so porous. It gets down so deep that you would have to just keep sanding. You might go all the way through. And then water tends to turn wood black too. So if it was washed down with water after it got all gross, if they were using it, I don't know if that didn't look like a cutting board, but some of them are. It's really hard to clean some of those things. Sometimes you just have to trash them. I would tell them this. I would try mineral spirits on the wood first and just really wipe it down well and at least get everything off the surface. It's going to raise the grain some, but I wouldn't sand it to get the grains down. I would use a steel wool and then go ahead and just use a tack cloth and get the steel fibers off when you're done. That's just to give it a smooth surface. Now, the other thing he could try, and this is not going to work for everything because that table would be beautiful, but it's never going to be back to looking brand new. It's just not going to happen. Is an oxalic acid that actually will bleach the wood white or whiter or more to its natural color, but you have to play with it a little bit. It's like a deck wash that takes that whole surface off the top without sanding it. And so the pressure treated lumber that turns and weathers, you can bring it back kind of looking like its original semi-green gray color that looks nice and neat. And so by using an oxalic acid on there, which would be a deck wash, and that's what I would buy, see if you can just burn the top off and burn down to the regular wood. And that way you don't have to worry about sanding because it's done with water and acid mixture. It's not real harmful to people, but it does a good number on wood as far as getting that surface off the top.
I imagine that kind of distressed look is got to be part of what it's finished. I mean, it's not like you say. He's never going to look like a brand new piece of furniture again.
I wouldn't want it to. I think that actually looked pretty good the way it was.
Yeah.
Once you clean it up, now you can't put a stain on it because the stain's not going to get into the wood anymore because all the grease and the oils and stuff. But you can put a clear finish on there, like a clear acrylic, to keep it that way and just give it a little bit of a wet look so it looks rich and vibrant. But you're still going to have all those variations of color. But at least I don't know if it's got a lot of grease, it could have a smell to it. So I would want to at least seal the smell in too.
I was going to say that would seal it in, and you wouldn't worry about it working.
Especially as a fish restaurant, right? I mean, the food preparation, there could be some smelly stuff sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in fact, when I was growing up, my mom had a restaurant up in New Hampshire. Yeah. And when I went off to college, I took a table, from one of the dining rooms for my apartment. And I had that table with me until we moved to Texas. And I finally gave it away, and when my son moved to Austin, I gave it to him. When I walked into his apartment, I could smell the restaurant.
It will. I believe it.
Yeah. I got used to it, so I didn't smell it anymore.
Smells
right.
like crazy.
Exactly. All right. Yes. You got a question? I don't care if it's stinky or not. We're happy to wrangle with your questions. Go ahead and visit HomeShowRadio.com and fill out that Ask Tom form. Send it in, and we'll answer it just like this in a video. We post a new one every day. You'll find them at HomeShowRadio.com. You'll find them on our Facebook page. You find them on YouTube. In fact, if you go to YouTube, you can search around and probably find answers to other questions you have. It's what we do at Home Show Radio.